Well, we're back again. Same car, same spot, same hoodie. I don't shower, I don't wash my clothes. All I do is film YouTube. Not actually, but sometimes. No, I pride myself in being a very hygienic person and doing my laundry regularly. In fact, when I go over to like my friend's house, where I like go downstairs where the rest of my family has their clothes in the laundry room, it's like, why do you never do this shit, man? Do you just not fuck with having clothes? What are we talking about? Hello! We're going to hit anterior. Raffage just push with quads. Shut up, pussy. Come on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I bet you were a pain in the ass in class, you fucking narc. Anyways, we're going to do that. And, whoa, it's been a rough week so far. It's only Wednesday, but it's Wednesday, thank goodness. I'm gonna be honest, I was debating on whether or not I should go to the gym because my shingles scar has been hurting like a bitch. And my mom sat me down yesterday. She was like, yeah, this is going to end poorly if you don't do something smart. I don't think it will. I think I'm going to dial in on my sleep for the rest of the week. Last night's sleep was pretty good. And I'm going to be okay and still be able to train hard as fuck. But I told her, I was like, if all I can do is go to work at my fuck-ass job in retail and then come home and sleep and do some coaching work in between there and I guess walk... No. You know, every morning that I get to hit a lift is a morning where I feel like I'm completing a puzzle that is myself. I'm contributing to the greatness that I want to strive toward. And on days where I don't, when I definitely have the capacity to, I can, but I didn't, no fucking way, man. I mean, it's been difficult enough as is. Mr. Guy just honked at me. School bus. Mornings have been rough. Evenings have been rougher. But we're big and buff, and I plan to be buffer. Bars. We're not gonna stop, man. And honestly, the greatest feeling that I can administer to anybody to help them through hard times is keep going. Just keep going. Understand that regardless of how hard times are, you are strong-spirited. And getting to the end of the line and seeing that you didn't fail because you never stopped, because you are strong-spirited, that's fucking everything. Having a really rough time for a long period of time and still witnessing the proofs of your efforts, it's everything. I just spat on my center console. That's so fucking important, especially as a young man, to not conform to the world around you of just maybe I just wanna chill and slow down I need a year off. You know, I need a year off to figure myself out. And then you go party and fucking jerk off every day and do fucking nothing. Man, you don't need a year off. You need a year on. You need to strive towards something with a fucking zealous vigor that nobody else can take away. You need purpose. And I feel like I talk about purpose every fucking time I do YouTube. But I mean that. If I was going through the times that I have been going through with the doubts that I have been having and the struggle I've been struggling with, and I didn't have some semblance of purpose outside just my philosophical basis, I would be profoundly so much more miserable. And I'm not saying that, you know, I need the world to be happy because God is everything in my life. But I understand that there are gifts in my life that can contribute to joyousness if I can refine myself through these gifts, like the gym, like fucking just emotional effort, trying to understand myself better. And I really want to talk about something probably after the gym. But for now, we're going to go hit a lift. It's not going to be a super long YouTube video today, but we're getting shit out. We're getting shit done. It's hard to hold on to hope that I don't even myself fully recognize. You know, it's like I sit here making videos, a lot of which are very attempting to be hope inspiring, sharing with people, how their life doesn't have to be miserable and they can just take a chance on things and try. And here I am trying, granted, not really taking many crazy chances, but trying within safe parameters and using up my time. I feel like pretty not responsibly, but ambitiously, keeping busy with things that I want to endeavor upon. And a lot of the time I still feel miserable, man. But it's a me problem. It's an ish me. Realistically, if I had better structure in my life, if I was getting up at the same time and had a more organized routine, I'd be okay. But, I can't keep every variable perfectly consistent. And so what results from that is some, inconsistencies in terms of sleep, in terms of mental acuity and capacity. And sometimes, as humans, we misread that lack of capacity as lack of spirit, I think. But it's important to recognize that sometimes you are just tired. Sometimes it's not because you're miserable. It's not because your life isn't aligned with you. It's not because there's so many things wrong. Sometimes you are just tired. And that drowsiness can make us so much more susceptible to all these problems that otherwise would be a lot more manageable. But take a look at where you're at and why you're actually feeling what you're feeling. It can help you a lot. Oh. That was a really good lift. Not as much volume as I would have hoped, but my shingles has been bugging, so probably good to go on the medium side. I'm really grateful, man. And I'm gonna be dreading the rest of the day, being away from everything else I want to do, going to do something that I don't want to do. But this is just that hump that we were talking about, right? It's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable for just a little bit longer, but I'm not gonna be keeping this job in retail for my whole life, right? And what seems overwhelming right now is gonna be a valuable lesson later. And yeah, I don't fucking like it. Oh, there's the woodpecker just absolutely drilling into his house. I'm learning lessons. I need to acknowledge things as lessons better. And I let all of the things on my plate overwhelm me to a point where I wasn't putting out as much content. And I realized that's what was killing my soul. I fucking love doing this. Even if it seems overwhelming sometimes on top of the things that I already have to do, this is what like feeds my soul. This shit. Sharing things with you guys, sharing funny video ideas, sharing, thoughts and struggles. This is everything to me. And I know that this is my purpose. This is why I'm here. Not in the sense that content creation is my purpose, but my purpose is to share things based upon my experience and hopefully provide insight, which brings me to a conversation I had yesterday with my mother. And I realized that I feel like I take a lot of blame on in my life. And it's difficult to traverse because I always feel like I could be doing more, like many of us. But when I don't, I have a hard time forgiving myself. And my mom was sitting there telling me that maybe I should take a week off from the gym and just focus on recovering because I've been struggling with a neurological headache, like a nerve. I guess it's always neurological, isn't it? Whatever. And yeah, I looked at her, I was like, I can't stop going to the gym. That's one less thing I'd be doing a day, and I would not be happy with myself. I already feel like I'm not doing enough. And she said she was going through like the pictures in her office, clearing it out, and she found her diary. And there was a diary entry when I was a little kid, and I got in trouble with my dad, and she was trying to like figure out how to deal with that. But he was being really unforgiving. And she had to sit there and watch me hate myself effectively. Like I was just sitting there saying like, I fucked up. Like, why did I have to fuck up? I wasn't supposed to fuck up. I'm a failure. I needed. And I still struggle with those thoughts sometimes. I realize now. And it's hard to like acknowledge that like I'm really hard on myself because it always feels like performative to say. But no, I do think like that. When I make mistakes, before I acknowledge the opportunity to give it up to God, I'm so hard on myself. I really don't want to ever be a failure. And I spent a lot of my life failing, learning to be successful in all these ways that I often fall short. And the thought that I'm stumbling backwards, it's a prideful assumption that failures in small ways ruin my image permanently. And I struggle with that. I think a lot of us do. But the permanence of my plans to carry out my endeavors need to be solidified better. But in my hopelessness, I realized also a lot more recently, trying to acknowledge my issues and work through them, I am still very anxious. I used to talk about how I was super socially anxious. I'm still super anxious in general. When I run into confrontation and there's already other things on my plate or something like that, I have a really hard time maintaining composure, and it makes me feel weak. It makes me feel like a weak man because I feel like I should be able to be abundantly patient and kind and humble, regardless of the weight bearing down on my shoulders in terms of conversation or anything else. So I need to work on being the executioner of my own heart when I stumble and fall. It's hard because I feel like when I do that and I forgive myself, I am copping out. I'm not letting myself feel the full weight of my failure, and so the likelihood of it teaching me a lesson is much less. But in some other avenues, I do the opposite, where I meet myself where I'm at and I go, oh, it's not that important. But in reality, all these things are important, and I need to forgive myself equally. And just because I deem something is an endeavor that I should never be failing in at this point in my life does not mean I won't. I need to get out of my head. I need to stop being my own judgment of character for myself, because I have a bias, and I have biases. I have a lot of biases toward myself in terms of resentment. I need to let go of that. And I think a lot of us do as well. This has just kind of been a yap salad. I think ultimately the bread and butter of what I'm trying to say is you can never be objective enough to deem yourself a failure or a success. All you can ever do is forgive your own shortcomings, give them up to God, and solemnly swear to do better. Not with this resentment of all your past actions, but with a true and renowned hope for your future. And on that note, time to go ready for work. Just joking. We're back for a posterior day. I was thinking, oh man, I don't even fucking know. What? No, I was thinking, I never got around to editing any of my YouTube footage. So what better to do than just add more onto it? And that way, I have twice as much work. I'm gonna head to adoration, they call it. Pretty much the Eucharist is exposed and I go and spend time with God, and sometimes I, pray and journal and try to get right for my day, because I definitely need it. Man, I've been struggling for sure, a lot, and I don't wish to in permanence. I want to be a well-rounded, emotionally capable, stable individual, confident in his own future, with his own abilities compounded with God's plan. Have I been very good at that? No. Someone much smarter than me said thoughts of anxiety, fear, and doubt are not of God. And that could go two ways. If you don't believe in God, then it kind of just boils down to they're not of anything good. Now, they can be rooted in something good deep down. Maybe you're being pushed towards something, pulled away something else, or forced out of a point of discomfort. But those thoughts aren't there to restrain you. They're there to push you towards something better. And all I have to do is find what that thing is that I need to be pushing toward and move toward it quickly. And right now, I think that that's a better prayer life. You want to know a surefire way to make sure you end up an awful person? Stop asking for help. Ensure that you are the only person living inside your head with your problems. Ensure that you avoid counsel at all costs, because, people are going to try to control you. And why listen to them? Delude yourself into understanding that you're the only voice that matters, that you can sort out any problem and beat any challenge on your own. If you want to live a fruitful life and you want to build something that you can be proud of when you look back, you can't only trust your own opinion. You're going to get emotionally involved in your own issues. And if you were to sit there and presume that you have the power to logically disconnect from everything and understand the right choices to make, you're wrong. You're not perfect. We're all so far from it. If you can't humble yourself to look for community, friends, mentors, to find counsel, to find what the right answers could be, to construct the best choice from either multiple points of view or one detached from yourself that really, really matters. There's a reason why we're supposed to have fathers, friends, brothers. people who we can rely on to make hard choices when we feel like we can't. You need to be able to lean on something when you're confused. And if you build the habit of understanding that you have nothing to lean on and it's all on you, you're going to crash and burn. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail forever. There is no recovering when you don't have help, because you decide that you're self-sufficient, and in self-sufficiency, there's selfishness. Because when eventually it's someone that is in your life who is due the honor of helping you when you're struggling, you will disregard that honor. You'll disconnect from them. You won't get help. And I think this is largely how narcissistic personality disorder surfaces. People who don't get help, and they have to fall back relying on their own ambitions. And a lot of the time, our own ambitions can be clouded and wrong. But if you build the habit of only ever relying on that, then you sometimes blur the lines of logic and self-interest. And so you stop acting out of love and start acting out of self-preservation based upon circumstances, largely of which were rooted in childhood traumas. And that's something that I've seen with my dad, with my ex-girlfriend, and I refuse to see in myself. I won't. And I pride myself in this one thing. I promised that I wouldn't be like these people. And I sat in the mirror staring at myself, seeing the qualities of a man who tortured me, swearing that I wasn't him and that I would never be like that. And for a lot of my life, I started to live dangerously close to it. I'm living out my promise right now. I will never be like that. Make a promise to yourself and uphold it. Don't ever break it. Don't ever walk away from it. Live towards something incredible and good. And no matter how hard it is, no matter how much struggle it feels like your life is bearing, you will live with a deeply rooted peace that you're okay and on your way to something far, far from the evils that you've seen in your life. Let's get to the gym. Excellent work, twins. You guys had a great lift. I am leaving and just realizing that I skipped straight leg deadlifts. But we got some glutes, we got some hamstrings, we're missing adductors. Oh my gosh! Anyways, so that sucks. I'm particularly frustrated, but at this point, I just gotta get home. I gotta get to work. I'm okay with the lift. I feel like we were looking pretty freaky, but I didn't take advantage of any like insane lighting. So that makes me feel pretty good because I'm like, you know what? Not bad, kid, not bad. I always like when I'm like, my body composition is decent enough to the point, well, obviously when I say freaky, I mean fucking by my standard. I always like when my body composition is decent enough to a point where I feel like I don't need to abuse crazy lighting to look good. So that's good. That makes me content. We've been restricting calories a bit because I keep fucking going back and forth where I kind of overindulge for a while because, dude, I've got a big family. I've got a handful of good friends and I have a birthday celebration like fucking every month, twice a month, and I like food. So I just be like eating like crazy. And then I'm like, shit. Well, now I kind of lost my baseline body fat percentage and I want to remain strict with that so that I can understand my progression better. Because, I mean, last year, I was probably 3% body fat, 4, maybe even 5 higher in body fat and 2 pounds lighter. So I'm not worried. I've been pretty rigid in terms of calorie restriction. I got shingles and I'm still putting on a decent amount of lean mass. Obviously on my legs because of how I was unable to do that for so long. But then on top of that, like, we're just getting bigger, man. And it's only gonna keep getting crazier. I promise you. So look out for that. One thing I'm not sure about is getting a gym membership again or unpausing my current gym membership just because it's a 20-minute drive and I already have so fucking little time. And I feel like I'd be fucking cooked. So I'm not really sure what to do with that. I think for now I'm just gonna keep lifting in my buddy's basement. His cement. Also tried this new row variation that I saw TNF doing. I didn't love it, but it helped me throw my scapular retraction and my sagittal pull into the same exercise. I didn't love it. I think if anything, I may do the shortened position pullovers and that and scapular retraction, like a Kelso shrug, just to kind of get more volume in on it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I could use, because I'm only really getting 2 times a week frequency right now. On really, really good weeks, I'm getting close to 3, but I think it would probably I could take on more volume, man. I have not been having a poor time recovering at all, and I've been getting shingles flare-ups, and my sleep hasn't been great, and my nutrition's been on the more not moderate end. I think some spit came out there. That was gross. But yeah, I could definitely up the volume. So that's probably something we're gonna try doing. It's just increasing volume means increasing session time in the gym, and I just man, I need to organize my time better is the biggest thing, and then go from there. All right, well, I appreciate you guys popping out. Don't really have anything particularly well endowed to say, but I look forward to posting the next YouTube video next week. Maybe we'll get this one out before the end of the other week, but I think we should be able to do that pretty shortly. Probably gonna have no music, just so I can see if my new intro is copyrightable, because it said it was non-copyright, but that was 2 years ago. I hate YouTube! Oh my goodness! Anyways, have a great day. Bye.